Sam is an ex-Muslim and wanted to talk to us about some of his experiences. Sam, you're live on Talk Heathen. What's up?
Hey guys, thanks for taking my call. I've been listening to ACA shows for many years, and I've heard all types of topics discussed, but I don't know if I've really heard this one, which is, basically as a Muslim kid growing up from a non-Arabic speaking country, you will have Quran classes the same way that, Christians will have Sunday school, usually on a Saturday. Either be at the mosque or you go to some kid's house, and you would have these classes where they teach you they teach you Arabic, but they don't actually teach you how to speak Arabic. So you learn the alphabet and how to sound things out and what it means when the letters are put together and with accents above and below them, but they never actually tell you what it means. And so the whole purpose of it is just to get you to read the Quran, because the whole goal of being a Muslim is to read the Quran. So once you actually read it, it doesn't matter if you understand what you're reading. So every week you kind of sound out different sections of it until you get to the end, and there's like a little bit of a celebration as a kid. But I always thought, I didn't register as a kid, but as an adult, I thought it's a bit sinister that I spent years learning essentially Arabic, but I can't speak Arabic, and neither can my parents, neither can my grandparents, and they had the same experience where they could sit there and read it, sound it out, but it didn't mean anything to us.
Yeah, that is very interesting.
Interesting. I feel like Christianity in Hebrew does that too, where they'll teach you names or certain words, but they don't teach you enough to actually go back and read it in Hebrew and figure out if it's the same as what you've been told your whole life. Very interesting.
Yeah, I imagine I can't speak
to that, but I also have Jewish friends that have told me they had the same experience with Hebrew.
So the reason why you don't see that in Christianity is because Jesus likely spoke Aramaic, and there is no Aramaic gospels, right? So the original gospels are written in Koine Greek, and so later the Catholic Church famously, right, sort of adopts Latin as its kind of official language. But of course, Jesus wasn't speaking Latin either. That was just sort of the canon way to read things. So there's no like real origin language that most of us have to study. I mean, like if you do New Testament studies, they're going to talk about Greek, and that they're going to obviously talk about Hebrew as well. But like there isn't as much of an emphasis because, as you know, in Islam, the prophet spoke and wrote these things, or his followers wrote things in Arabic, and so that's like the official holy language, which is just not a Christian phenomenon, at least for most of us.
Yeah, well, I mean, you get zero credit for reading the Quran in any other language. Like if you read it, if you're an English speaking person and you read it in English, you don't get any credit for that. It's only if you read it in Arabic, regardless of whether you understand it.
Which is funny because allegedly, the Prophet Muhammad can't write in Arabic either. Like he was like famously illiterate, right? So
I mean that's actually one of the proudest facts for a lot of Muslims is that that's part of the miracle.
So we got to do all the work, and he doesn't.
Do you think that's why so many people who are Muslim are okay with the idea that they can't necessarily, like, they're not fluent in Arabic because he wasn't either, so.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, personally, I think that, like, at best, it's just negligence, but more likely it's that they don't want us to know what these words mean, because if we actually read them, then it's not things that people want to hear. It's kind of terrible stuff. And it wasn't until I read the Quran in English that I, really detached myself from the religion.
The irony, I think the intention is twofold. One, a lot of original texts in Islam were from oral traditions, right? And so obviously those oral traditions were Arabic. So in order to keep that cohesive, you have to keep it in the same language, because when you translate stuff, you lose meaning, right? So I think there's an idea of keeping purity there in some sense. But the irony is, if you don't actually speak Arabic, you don't retain the meaning because you don't understand the context either, right? Because you don't speak Arabic. So it's kind of a coin with two sides there. It doesn't really work out for anybody, but
Yeah, exactly. As kids, we would read the verses together, and then we would have a teacher that would paraphrase what we read. So he would give us his version, but he wouldn't say this is what each word meant that you just read.
Interesting.
Feels a bit sinister to me.
Yeah,
that is really funny. Obviously, I wish we could talk more about
kids.
Go ahead, Sam.
Sorry. I was just saying, imagine if you sent your kid for 7 or 8 years to language classes, and at the end of it, they couldn't speak the language.
Yeah.
You know, like
that was me in Spanish.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair.
Donde está la biblioteca?
Right.
And I only know that line as much as I do because of Community, which is a fun show. But yeah, no, I understand the frustration there. That sucks that you can't even speak the language, and the ones you do is the kind of language you don't even want to speak anyway. Which is well, Sam, do you have kids? Do you plan on teaching? If you had kids, would you teach your kids? Or I guess you can't even teach them because you don't even know the Arabic well enough to do that, huh?
No, exactly. And I don't have kids, but I do have a niece, and I do my best to make sure that she's not taught any of this stuff, or at least given the other side of things.
Yeah. Maybe not teach at all, but like with like a lot of context, right? I think that's probably the best way to do it.
100%. Yeah, agree.
Yeah.